All right. Welcome back to Black Bear News. Please make sure to like the video and also make sure that you are still subscribed. Um, so, the area behind me with the Black Bear News banner and the Earth banner um, is going to be occupied starting tomorrow with a piano. A full on piano is going to be standing right here. So I'm not sure what my studio is going to look like after tomorrow. I'm going to have to kind of change things around and figure out where exactly I'm going to do my broadcasting from. So maybe I'll do it in front of a piano. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Um, Also, just to let you know, I have a couple videos on my Patreon for anybody, for Patreon subscribers. I only have one Patreon subscriber right now. I just made my page, but if you would like to go over there and even donate $1 to the Patreon page, there are a couple videos up, exclusive Patreon videos. There's going to be more stuff up there shortly. Lord of mercy, Aaron, how you doing? Greetings. Yeah, come on in, guys. Come on in. That's how we see it in Jamaica. I've never been to Jamaica, by the way, but anyways, that's my best Jamaican. Uh, what else do I need to tell you? Yeah, so yeah, if you want to go over to Patreon, there's a couple videos over there. Some exclusive content. And let's get into some articles. Um, this is from, I want to lead with this from Common Dreams. This was tweeted out by Extinction Rebellion Vancouver. Record-breaking warm weather expected around the globe as human-caused climate crisis now as powerful as El Niño's effects, says WMO. And I've been speaking over the last few weeks about warm winter temperatures and warm conditions all over the northern hemisphere, east coast of the United States, Scandinavia, Moscow, etc. There have been extremely warm weather conditions, little snow. So this seems to be in conjunction with the very same trend. The world's top meteorological experts issued the warning as cities and countries around the world reported record-breaking warm winters, which I was just alluding to. As countries accustomed to cold, snowy winters reported record-breaking warm weather this season, meteorological experts on Monday predicted that temperatures over the next several months will also be warmer than usual, even without the effects of El Niño. In its El Niño Southern Oscillation Update, the World Meteorological Organization said that the naturally occurring El Niño phenomenon has only a 20 to 35% chance of taking place between March and August 2020. We've been kind of setting up for another El Niño for the last year. It's kind of not really appeared. And I was actually just looking at a graph that we had a fairly large rebound of ice in the Arctic. So something to be thankful for, considering everything else that's going on. A bit of a reprieve in the Arctic ice situation. Warm weather mirroring El Nino's effect, however, is 55 to 60% likely over the same time period. So no El Nino, or less of a percentage, less likelihood that El Nino will happen, but more likelihood that warm temperature will still happen. And so neutral months are warmer than in the past as air and sea surface temperatures and ocean heat have increased due to climate change, said WMO Secretary General Pederi Talis in a statement, the signal from human-induced climate change is now as powerful as that from a major natural force of nature. We'll read that again. The signal from human-induced climate change is now as powerful as that from a major natural force of nature. El Niño, which involves changes in Pacific Ocean surface temperatures and in the overlying atmospheric circulation, as the WMO wrote, is associated with drought, rain, and other weather events associated with warmer temperatures. Even without the phenomenon, above average sea surface temperatures are expected in both tropical and non-tropical regions in the next several months, which will lead to unusually warm weather even, on land as well. The WMO report came as officials from around the world reported that cities and countries in a number of regions are experiencing unusually warm winters. Moscow has had its warmest winter in 200 years of record keeping, with an average temperature of 32.3 degrees Fahrenheit, just about freezing, or just above freezing. The first winter the city has experienced with an average temperature above freezing. Data is still being recorded throughout Russia. The Washington Post reported the entire country may have set a warm weather record this winter. Japan and France have also recorded their warmest winters. A number of cities accustomed to snowy winters saw little to no snowfall this year. Helsinki, Finland recorded a total accumulation of 0.2. We're talking about Helsinki, Finland. Helsinki, Finland, 0.2 centimeters of snow all winter. That is insane. I mean, that's barely measurable. 0.2 centimeters is barely measurable, with no snow in January and February. In the U.S., Washington, D.C. recorded less than an inch of snow this winter, compared to its average snowfall of more than 15 inches. New York City also recorded its second least snowy winter ever. On social media, climate experts recorded a number of unusually warm winters around the world, with posts Capital Weather Gang calling some of the records astonishing. Some astonishing warm winter records coming in. Moscow's first winter to average above freezing. We're reading about that, et cetera, et cetera. For the first time in 200 years of record keeping, Bill McKibben just saying the same things. This year's winter in Stockholm is the warmest one on record since daily weather observations began in 1756. With more than 90% of the energy trapped by greenhouse gases going into the ocean, ocean heat content is at record levels. Thus, 2016 was the warmest year on record as a result of a combination of strong El Niño and human-induced global warming. 2019 was the second warmest year on record, even though there was no strong El Niño. So without an El Niño, that was the second warmest on record. We just had the warmest January on record just now. Just did that. All of this points to the fact that we, as a planet, as a species, are in big trouble. I don't know how you could read the tea leaves any other way. But yeah, that's what's happening, and that probably threatens to overshadow, all other happenings. Presidential races, mitigation efforts, economies, going back to school to get your degree. It's going to overshadow a lot of things. Do you have time to go back to school to get your degree? Maybe. Maybe you do. You might make it there. Hell, I even thought about it. But then, so I spent a couple years going to get a degree, and then, is there anything left for me to use my degree with as everything collapses? That's the reality of my thought process, but, that's just me. But continue doing whatever you're doing, human beings of the earth, do whatever you're doing to the fullest and the mostest. So I'm going to say hello to some people. Fiesta, what's going on? You made it. You made it from the beginning. Patrick Hanna, hello. What's up, man? Long time no hear. Anna Northernly, looking to see if temps over China go up due to loss of industrial activity. I am also very, very interested in that. If you find something, please let me know. Cindy Seeley. Natural Progressive is live now too. Oh, I did not know that. We got dual lives. 2 lives. Thank you, Human. Human says support Patreon, Black Bear News. Yes, that's where I'm at. If you'd like to head over there, there's a couple of videos for the Patreon people. Patrick Hanna says don't confuse extent and volume. I mean, I know the difference. And I understand that most of it is extent and not necessarily volume, but we are getting a little bit of a rebound. You know, I mean, look, man, like take whatever good news we can get at the moment, because it's probably going to be all bad news eventually. Yeah, Rich Diana says most of the old multi-year ice is gone. Osama, what's up? How you doing? Got your message. I will get back to you about those. Tinker says smashed that thumbs up. Please remember to like the video. Maru, hello. Aaron Jackson, what's up? Aaron Jackson says we've got a doozy out there. I don't... explain. Yeah, drawn by dragons. This is if you Google coronavirus lockdown, China has air pollution levels tumbling. I just covered that yesterday. I just covered that exact article yesterday. Henry, hello. Climate is bad indeed. Prankensquire, hello. Listening from Utah. Good day to you. It's raining pollen in Texas. Firecracker, hello. D-Ranch, hello. Environmental Coffee House says we had a crazy snow and 2 days later it's 50. Yeah, it's been wild weather here as well. It was in the 80s all week last week, or you know, high 70s, 80s. It got up to 90. It was hot. All of a sudden we had like super cold weather. It was crazy wind. I don't know what that means. The winds of change are coming. Roy Dobson says the coming wildfire season in Russia will make Australia look like a campfire. I can't imagine what the wildfire season is going to hold for a lot of the northern hemisphere. It's probably not going to be pretty. Osama says 60 degrees here and the bluebirds are hungry. Yeah, you're on the East Coast, right? And yeah, kind of everywhere you look, it's not winter weather, not regular winter weather. So just dipping into some election stuff real quick. As you know, it's Super Tuesday tomorrow. Lots and lots of states are voting. California, Texas, Minnesota, Vermont, Massachusetts. Who's voting tomorrow? There's others. But Virginia. So that means, Osama, you're voting tomorrow, yeah? Or you already voted. Maybe you already voted. I don't know. Let's see. Where's the list of states? Can somebody show me the list of states? Just show me the states. Just the states, please. Yep. Here are the states. I don't know why that was so incredibly hard for me to find. Alabama, American Samoa, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina. North Carolina, I didn't know that. Oklahoma, Tennessee, quite a few states. Texas, Utah, Vermont, Virginia. So if you haven't voted already, many of these states, a lot of states are implementing early voting. California did as well. If you haven't already voted, please, 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 please make sure that you vote tomorrow. I know it doesn't matter and it's all rigged and nothing's going to change. But hey, you know what? If you don't vote, somebody else is going to make decisions for you. So at least make your own decision, however meaningless you might feel it is. So anyways, one thing I wanted to cover, and this is something that another news channel was covering the other day, a tactic of the powers that be is to start shutting down polling sites in order to suppress the vote. Because if you suppress the vote, you can control the vote, and you can, if you suppress the vote, you basically suppress minorities voting, people who have to work, people who are poor, have a harder time getting out. So if you close down polling places, make it hard for people to vote, more likely you're going to be able to get the powers that be are going to be able to get the people that they want in there. This is a long-standing Republican practice, but is also, as of late in the last few years, been something that the Democrats are doing as well. So they are guilty as well of trying to control the vote and try and shoehorn their candidates in there by shutting down polling places. And Iowa, the first caucus of the primary season, is evidence of this, because what they had was they had a new thing called satellite caucuses, which were like remote caucus places that took place like in workplaces, and places that made it easier. The idea is supposed to make it easier for people who have a hard time getting out to caucus to be able to hear their voices, right, to get their votes counted. And all these satellite caucuses were basically going for Bernie, and there was some kind of messing around. So, there was a hanky panky afoot in the satellite caucuses with the vote counting, and Pete Buttigieg, who's now out of the race, was instrumental in getting some of the vote counts tossed out or recounted or whatever, or nullified, because he didn't like the way they were being counted. And so again, disenfranchising people who want to have their voices heard and cannot have their voices heard. Anyways, this is from The Guardian. They find places where Black and Latino population is growing by the largest numbers experience the majority of closures, and that could benefit Republicans. This is definitely something that Republicans try and push for. Long considered a Republican bastion, changing racial demographics in the state have caused leading Democrats to recast Texas as a potential swing state. Texas Democratic Party official Manny Garcia has called it the biggest battleground state in the country. The closures could exacerbate Texas's already chronically low voter turnout rates to the advantage of incumbent Republicans. Ongoing research by University of Houston political scientists Geronimo Cortina and Brandon Roddinghouse indicates that people are less likely to vote if they have to travel farther to do so, and the effect is disproportionately greater for some groups of voters, such as Latinos. The fact of the matter is that Texas is not a red state, said Antonio Arellano, of JOLT, a progressive Latino political organization. Texas is a non-voting state. And that, also goes hand in hand with the fact that the biggest block of voters in the country are non-voters. So if you make it difficult to vote, or make people feel like their voices can't be heard, make them feel like the system is rigged, and you get them to stay home, then you can choose the people. You get to make the decisions for them because they stayed home. Um, 2012, there was one polling place for every 4,000 residents. By 2018, that figure had dropped to one polling place per 7,700 residents, almost double. Um, some counties closed enough polling locations to violate Texas state law. Yeah. Until 2013, hundreds of counties in 9 states, including Texas, with a history of severe voter suppression, had to submit any changes they wanted to make to their election systems to the Department of Justice under the Voting Rights Act. The department sought to ensure that the changes did not hurt minority voters. 7 years ago, a Supreme Court ruling gutted this law and allowed these jurisdictions to operate without oversight, and now the previously mandatory racial impact analysis is no longer performed. Wow. To be clear, this is something that Democrats are also doing, or have tried to do in the past. One famous example is in New York, the New York primary last year. They didn't close polling locations, but they purged a bunch of people right before the primary off of the voter rolls, and most of those people were Bernie supporters. But so they're involved in some funny business as well. Maru says, I'm voting in Texas. Well, good luck to you, Maru. Vote well. Maru says Bernie is crazy. Crazy awesome. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Yeah, go vote for whoever you like, though. You know what I'm saying? It's the vote is your choice. Maru says Joe won in South Carolina in huge numbers. Yes, but he also lost in huge numbers in all the other in the other contests so far. Joe did very badly, and it looks like South Carolina might be. Yeah, he's going to get a bump from South Carolina, but South Carolina, yeah, it doesn't really mean much in the long term, because here's another thing to understand. Joe Biden has been running out of money over the last few months. He's had very little cash to work with. Hasn't campaigned in any Super Tuesday states in a month. He hasn't had a lot of advertisements on the airwaves. He hasn't been advertising at all. He doesn't have any ground team in LA. The Biden headquarters in LA are padlocked and shut, and they are vacant. So I don't know if that's because he doesn't have a lot of money. I don't know what the reason is, but he got his South Carolina win, and that's going to make him look, viable for about the next 24 hours. He's going to look viable for about 24 hours after tomorrow, and after the next few weeks. Joe is going to slip down to where he was in all the other states. But anyways, I'm not really a fan of the Joe Biden. Henry Holt says, crazy rhythm, how you doing? George Robeson, Democratic Party has no credibility. Osama says he can have it to Joe Biden getting South Carolina. Yeah. Osama says, I vote on a sanitary and verifiable paper ballot. Absolutely. That was hilarious, Fiesta. Joe Biden died last year and no one told him. That's funny. Poor Joe. Oh my God. He just keeps on he's just, God bless him. he can barely speak, this man, and he's not going to be able to hold it together through the rest of the primaries. I'm sorry. James Michael Campbell, bringing it back to climate change. We lose the reefs, we lose phytoplankton, zooplankton, lose the whales, starve. The whales starve, you lose the fertilizers of the ocean, sardines, seagulls, shrimp, albatross, frigate birds, bears, seals. What's Maru? What do you have against Bernie? Bernie is a damn decent human being, and if you just listen to him talk, I mean, it's just logic. And Bernie is sick and dying? No, he's not sick. I'm sorry. He's not. He's fine. Man is in great health, and if you listen to him talk, he makes perfect sense. He's can string sentences together and you know. Fiesta Cranberry, he looks all waxy. Are you talking about Bernie? Or are you talking about Joe? Joe looks waxy. George H., it's clearly Bernie now. Yep. Yes, I saw that, Scott Andrews. Oh my God, lucky day. So actually, I'm quite happy today because Buttigieg is gone, Klobuchar is gone, Chris Matthews resigned. Like, this is a great day. This is an awesome day. Firecracker, Medicare for all. We need it. We want it. So anyways, tomorrow's the day, so please go out and vote. Vote for your candidate. Vote for who you like. Go out and, make your voices heard. Yeah, Doug, I agree with you. I'm worried too. So, coronavirus updates. Coronavirus death toll surpasses 3,000. This is from today. South Korea said Monday it had confirmed 599 new cases. South Korea has 22 confirmed deaths, 4,335 confirmed infections. However, it has tested more than 100,000 people. United States has 2 deaths. Over the weekend, tests have taken place at a far slower pace. A genetic analysis has suggested that the novel coronavirus, which causes a highly infectious respiratory disease called COVID-19, has probably been spreading undetected for about 6 weeks in Washington state. Oh. And that's a lovely thing to think about. And I mean, if it's been spreading in Washington state, it's spreading everywhere else. Italy now has more than 1,600 confirmed cases. Iran surpassed 1,500 and has 66 deaths. Travelers from both countries appear to have spread the virus to other nations in Middle East and Europe. Elsewhere, Indonesia is one of the few large nations thought to be free of the virus. Said Monday that it had 2 confirmed cases. Others were reported in Australia, India, Portugal, etc. So it coronavirus marching on, doing its thing. Lastly, in this video, something I was talking about yesterday. China reports catastrophic data. PMIs crashed to record low, confirming coronavirus collapse. China released data which would, for the first time, capture the devastation from the coronavirus pandemic. It will probably not come as a surprise that the world's second biggest economy has ground to a halt. Its GDP set to post the first negative print in modern history. To everyone else who is just now catching up, we have some news. It's going to be bad. So there's something called the PMI, or non-manufacturing PMI. Hold on one second. It's usually around in the 50s, and it's fallen to below 30. So almost half, 40%, which is um, in line with what I was talking about the other day. We were talking about industrial output or activity falling to 40%, falling 40% in China. Anyways, I will link all these below, and you guys can check out that. Poppy Davis, thank you so much for the super chat. Poppy Davis says, just wanted to say bye, everybody. C virus in San Antonio, so I'll be stricken soon. I hope not. I hope that's stay safe, Poppy, and stay hydrated. Make sure you get sleep. Make sure you get plenty of vitamins. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat, Maru. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. And you gave me the cool chicken. George H, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you, guys. Fiesta Cranberry says, I have 2 friends with pneumonia. I'm sorry to hear that. You have 2 friends with pneumonia. I think one is going to die. I'm sorry. That's horrible. And I, had a loved one who also passed away from pneumonia and complications thereof. So I understand. I hope I'm wishing them well, and I hope that they get better. Thank you, Scott Andrews. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Maru says Trump needs to get serious with this virus. Needs to get serious with the virus. Steve Moyer, get some black elderberry syrup while you still can. Walmart sells it. The pharmacy section, it can prevent viruses from taking hold. Thank you for the advice, Steve. I appreciate that. Black elderberry syrup. Fiesta Cranberry, but they keep saying there's no Kung flu here. It's very strange because the flu has been quite prevalent in the last month or so here. I don't think it's connected to the coronavirus, but flu has been everybody has been sick. Everybody I know got sick. I see people coughing and sneezing everywhere I go. Just everybody has a runny nose. Everybody's just like coughing, wheezing, just totally like laid out. Everybody is getting it. So it's a bad flu season as well as being coronavirus season. Scott Andrews says, I bet if they tested everyone, they would find that thousands are infected. They very well might. Environmental Coffee House says, my husband had pneumonia for 2 weeks before going to the doc. He finally went to the doctor the day before. Went to Florida the same day I had my crash. He would have died in Florida probably. Yeah, if you're really feeling out of it, definitely take yourself to the hospital or have somebody take you. No Kung flu. I meant C virus. Well, yeah, I don't. It's here. It's around. I know what you're saying. There are people that are being quarantined in Southern California, at some military base. So it's definitely here. Thanks, Poppy. Thank you. Coronavirus season. Yes, maybe so. Osama says Aurora liposomal, vitamin C, D3, 10,000 IU, turkey tail mushroom, and turmeric and oregano oil. Thank you. Thanks for the tips, man. Creative experiments. Vitamin C does nothing for a virus. You can't stop it. Maybe so, but I mean, vitamin C helps the immune system. Helps me. I don't know. I'm sure. I don't know what it has to do with uh, warding off coronavirus, but if I ever feel like I'm about to come down with something, I pound thousands uh, of milligrams of vitamin C, and it usually will pull me out of it. In fact, that's how I escaped getting the flu a few weeks ago. I felt something coming on. I took about 6,000 or 8,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and 2 days later I was all right. Poppy Davis, if you go to the hospital to get checked, be sure to bring money. Of course. Of course. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. That's all I wanted to cover today. Thank you for hopping on with me. Again, there are videos up on my Patreon if you are so inclined to go over there and become a Patreon supporter of mine. What else can I tell you? I'll hopefully have some more things up there later this week. Exclusive stuff and whatnot. But I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. Please, everybody, go vote if you are in a voting state. And enjoy your evening. Peace.